Good evening and welcome to the Town of Acton Selectmen's meeting for November 19th, 2015. First item on the agenda, a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to suggest a moment of silence for the people in France. Okay. Approval of the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Seconded.
All in favor? Approval of the minutes of the last meeting?
I suggest,
I'm sorry.
I approve, no, you got me.
There was
You got
no
me
meeting last
confused.
week.
I move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
We didn't have a meeting last Thursday? So there are no minutes? Okay. The ones from the week before have already been approved?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, it's all yours, Jen.
All right. The first thing on the agenda is a siding update. Touch base with Ken Paul, code enforcement. As you know, he's been working with his guys to get this done. 2 weeks ago, you authorized the far side of the library to be done because we had enough money left over. That's been completed. He fixed the areas in the front where we had the shoveling issues where it broke off. They did work Monday on some cleanup and touching up on a few areas, but before Monday, there was $900 left. So it looks like we've spent all we can spend for this year, and once we get a quote from Laterno's in regards to the front of the library, we're gonna try to get the quote for the rest of the siding all at once, and if nothing else major comes up, like you had this year, maybe we can get them both on the warrant for next year and just
Yeah, we
finish the
also
project.
We also have to rebuild the fire escape from the
back.
The back.
And actually, we talked to, didn't Ken give us a rough idea? Because that was gonna be mainly material. Well, actually, I can't because we could do the fire escape out of building maintenance if it's really only 1,000 or 2, but we can't spend any of this on that because that was
Right,
more
unless we
siding.
mention it in the warrant, we can't, that's why I wanted to mention it.
Right.
I'd rather do it as a package and have, because he's got to tear it down to do the siding and
Right.
then rebuild it, so.
So instead of squeezing it in out of this year from.
Oh, you're saying,
Well,
no.
we could do it out of building maintenance, technically, that's
Well, if we
completely
do it
legal.
this year, he still has to put the siding in after
Oh, I
he
see what
tears
you're
it down,
saying.
because it goes right up along the siding.
so it needs to
So
wait.
we might as well do it all as one package.
We've gotten a couple of calls in my office wanting, everybody wants to know if the front of the library is gonna be done, and certainly we are, it's just not gonna be this year.
Right. And in front of the town hall also.
Done.
Oh, they finished that? I
Yes.
thought they only went over to there.
No,
I
they
didn't even
didn't.
notice it when I came in.
Yep,
So they did inside, both sides,
Yep.
and outside the library and the front of the town hall.
correct.
Great, so they
So we
got
just
more
have
done
the
than we
back
thought.
and the inside areas that are a little harder to reach.
Yeah, I don't like it being dark this early.
Next is the electricity for the Christmas tree. I came to you a couple of weeks ago. As you know, we have the tree lighting ceremony coming up. They wanted to use the tree out by the sign to decorate this year. And we had some conversations about electricity and what could we do. I did speak to Mary Stanton, as you recommended, and she is not aware if there's any electricity out there. What she recommended is that I actually call our own electrician and have him go out with the tool to determine if there's wires underneath. So I did that. I spoke to Roland, and unfortunately, that's a more modern piece of equipment that he doesn't use. He thought a good way of getting it done fairly cheap is to call DigSafe. And because we may be considering digging there. They may be able to tell us if there's wires under there without going through the process. But in any event, it's not gonna happen for this year.
Okay.
Because we don't know if it's out there and we don't.
Yeah,
it's
it
not
must
happening.
not be if the Stantons don't know, because they donated the sign and put the sign in and wanted to put power to it at the time. So if they didn't do it, then I don't think anybody else would have put, was there a sign there before?
Well, and
Before
I
the
still
stand?
have a handful of people in town that stand by the fact that there is a post, if you go out there, a little further in front of the sign that's, it's probably about yay big, that's in the ground, that someone literally has cut ground level off. And I have residents that swear that that pole had electricity outlets on it. But again, without digging underneath, and Roland also said that you may be able to just go out there and dig around that post and kind of get an idea. But I've spoken to the committee, and it's just not something that's going to happen this year. So what they're proposing, we had a couple of ideas. The one that they'd like to go with is putting the tree out front. It can't go where it was before because of the well issue. They're thinking about putting it on the other side of this ramp. When you walk out, it would be just in that area. And they're looking for permission to drill a hole, probably, 2 feet deep, and put a, probably not necessarily PVC pipe, but something of that nature down into the ground so that the base of the tree will fit into to make it more stable, and then tie it down accordingly. They would be responsible for digging down, putting the pipe, and capping it off when it was done. But that's what they're looking for permission to do.
All right, so they just want a hole to put the tree in. They're not asking to drill a hole in the new siding to...
Oh, no, it's
power
gonna be
it.
in the ground.
Okay.
Yeah, in the ground.
And how are they gonna get power?
We're gonna run it inside.
Through,
You could probably run it in or run it over to the outlet that's over outside the kitchen.
yeah, but through the door or through the window, or...
I honestly haven't looked at, I'm not sure if there's any power on the outside of this building.
All right, let me look at it. Let me look at the panel, too, to see if there is a breaker that's been named for out there. Because if that's the case, then maybe we can have the road commissioners go down and dig it up a little bit and see if there's a wire in there.
I know that for the projects that Ken has done outside, they've had to use a generator. I don't believe there's any outside power.
Okay.
Would you rather we will, certainly do our best. If we run it in through this window, we can do a lot of.
Oh, yeah, it's only gonna be for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so
we'll
that's fine.
tape it off real good and make sure that,
We keep the heat down in
least
here
amount of
anyways.
air can come through. And they
And
may.
the building's a lot better now with all the insulation in it, so.
So you guys are okay with us digging a small hole, and as long as we take care of capping it off and everything?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Perfect. While we're on that, just promise Michelle a moment. So we do have our annual tree lighting dinner with Santa coming up, and we just got confirmation from Santa that he is available and will be here, so this is very, very important. They are still looking for donations of food items and goodies, so if you can, even if you can't make it that night and you wanted to drop them off, that would be wonderful. There's a sign-up sheet, or you can call or email in. Next item is just an FYI, that I didn't have a chance to tell you this last week because we didn't have a meeting, but the transfer station did close yesterday for annual training that they do in Portland. We did advertise it, but we did receive quite a few calls, so in case you heard anything, I did put it in the paper a week or so in advance and on cable.
And I think we mentioned it on the meeting before that, too.
No, we didn't know at that point.
Oh, okay.
So.
I thought we had talked about that.
We did not. The abandoned property update, we spoke 2 weeks ago about a particular property in town that we were having the sheriff's department serve. I think that I told you that that was happening. The property owner was in fact served on 11/9, and we have confirmation of that from the sheriff's department. A variety of different timelines and deadlines are in this packet. I can tell you that one of them was just yesterday, and with our code enforcement being on out of the office with some training. I'm not sure if he met the first deadline, but Ken did tell me that the property owner is emailing him. And there's communication now, which is more than there was in the past. So I think the overall deadline was sometime in December. So maybe after the Thanksgiving holiday, 1st of December, I'll update you more, but it looks like things are moving forward.
Okay. Just in case, have we found out any more about what we can do if the timeline isn't met? Can they notify the lien holder?
I'd have to double check. I don't want to.
If you could find that out.
Well, I don't know that we couldn't. I don't know that there's anything that's stopping us. I don't know if it's just a decision made. But there are some very clear things about what happens if they fail to comply in here.
Okay.
But I will touch base with the attorney and see if they recommend us notifying the lien holder.
All right. I'd like to let him, since he just got the letter, I'd like to let him do the best he can first.
Okay, so
But if
hold
he-
off?
Well, find out if we can.
Okay.
But if he does what he needs to do, then I'd just rather hold off on everything.
Okay.
But if not, I just want to do that because I really don't want to take, have to take the prop fee, so I'd
Right.
rather have the lien holder get involved.
Okay. I will find out. Town clerk hours, I sent you guys an email, last week just mentioning that, I wasn't in the office last Monday. I just wanted to put this on there because it's kind of been common practice, but I just wanted to put it out there so that you all knew. I'm probably the only one in the building that doesn't have set hours. Now that we've agreed to the code enforcement, Michelle has her hours, our hourly staff all has their hours. I don't have set hours. I'm just kind of here, all the time.
Till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
So what I would like, until we work on that job description, what I've been doing, and just kind of an FYI for you guys, is the weeks that the town hall is open that Saturday, I'm not working Mondays, because I am going over the 40 hours allowed by law, and as much as I harp on the rest of my staff to not go on overtime, I thought that I should probably follow along that as well. So anytime there's a Saturday that the office is open, because I do work myself, I won't be working that Monday. And then at some point, we'll work out the hours. Next item, Ed asked me to put this on the agenda, and I spent some time working on it, following up. So on December 11th of 2014, the Board of Selectmen sent this very nice, well-typed letter to Tim Susi at the Maine Department of Transportation. I'm not going to pretend to recall where Tim Susi's name came from. Someone must have given it to us, maybe a road commissioner. But nevertheless,
He's assigned this district for doing speed limit.
so we thought.
Oh.
So we sent him the letter making it a formal request to have a speed survey done on all those roads, and we pleaded with him to put Youngs Ridge Road at the top of that list. So December 14th, we give him some time, we sent it certified, made some phone calls. On Tuesday, I got a hold of a very helpful lady at the front that says, that's interesting because Tim Susi is our lead mechanic and he wouldn't have anything to do with that, so it's no wonder he's not replying. So I'm not sure if position changed or things changed or we misinterpreted who was supposed to get the letter. But I have a name of our York County rep, Steve Landry. Steve Landry, that's his actual job. So what I'm going to propose is I'm just going to take this letter and send a letter, because I don't have it prepped for you guys to sign tonight. I'll just sign my own name to it, basically saying, Mr. Landry, please see enclosed the letter we sent, blah, 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 signed by the board, and send another one certified. I have left Mr. Landry 2 messages this week. So I'm going to send a certified letter, and hopefully I'll have an update for you, Ed, at the next
Great.
meeting. Does that?
I was approached by one of the property owners up there, wanting to know what was going on with the speed limit signs, because we had talked about it back along, so.
Right. And, and Deputy Shaw has also asked me about it, a few times here and there, and time just kind of goes by, and it's how much time to give them, so now.
Yeah,
So I'll make sure that letter goes out tomorrow.
thanks.
Protection One. Protection One is who the town of Acton has our contract with for the alarm. We have been in business with them since 2007. We've talked a couple of times over the years about possibly getting a new company. Ed asked me to follow up on this. And I keep, thinking in my mind, it's got to be coming up. It's got to be coming up because we keep looking at it. So what I found out yesterday from Protection One is that when I called and said, okay, when does the town of Acton's contract end? She said October of 2016. And I said, oh, no, that's not right. I mean, it can't keep extending. And she said, well, it actually matured October 31st of 2015. And according to the original contract signed by said selectmen on June 29th of 07, if you flip over on the very, very fine print that I've highlighted, it says, the term of this contract shall automatically renew for an additional year if Party A does not, it's so small, does not request a written termination 60 days prior to the end of the contract. So it's a signed contract. I mean, it's nothing against the people that signed it. It was completely legit at that time. There's just no way that you can remember something like that over the years. Nevertheless, so your contract does end October of 2016, and I've already made notes in lots and lots of places that, you know, should I still be here, or somebody that we look at that. And it kind of works out. I mean, I know that we've looked at having some other companies, but honestly, Ed, it's gonna cost us some money to switch. So maybe as we start doing the budget, we can go through and get some quotes and figure out, you know.
Yeah, I know, last year, I think we talked about it and realized that it came up this year,
Right,
and we were gonna look into it, but like I say, things just get by us sometimes, so.
right, yep. And that is the first time I've seen, I mean, she was kind enough to point it out in the,
Yeah,
you know, page.
must have been expecting the call.
So, we are good until October of 16, so hopefully somebody can remember to maybe get us out of that. Planning board alternate position, a couple of things. First of all, I personally did not receive any emails or any phone calls or any contact from anybody saying that they were interested in being on that planning board spot. And that was the direction that the board gave when we announced it. So for that reason, and the reason that it did not make the Smart Shopper on time, I've re-advertised it until December 2nd, which is a Wednesday before your next meeting. So you don't meet next week because of the holiday. So I went ahead and put it in the paper for next week and give them until 4 o'clock on the 2nd. So if anyone's interested in being an alternate, please let me know. I think that you guys had said you received one email. Did we reply maybe to that email and tell John Doe to
To get in
put
touch
something in
with you.
writing? Okay.
Yep.
I haven't heard from anybody.
Okay.
Next, the sand and salt shed. I did speak to Mr. Winchell and Michelle regarding a couple of things, just an update. You recall from an email a week or so back that we were a little short on the paving money and figuring out where we were going to get that from. Both road commissioners came in and met with Michelle, had a very good meeting, and they shifted some gravel processing that was actually done on the site down there out of a different line, and kind of it allowed some more money to go towards paving. So after the meeting, I've confirmed with Michelle that plenty of money to pave. Mr. Winchell is on it. They're scheduled, I think, after all this rain, beginning of next week to actually be paving it. So we're back on track with that.
They're gonna finish the building tomorrow, except for the electrical work that's just been started, so.
Yeah, he gave me a couple other things to mention.
Okay.
Do you already know them? Has he already given them to you? I'm
No,
not
I
gonna-
go by the building a
Oh,
couple
okay.
of times a day, so I've stopped in and talked to them.
He did say that the lights were being installed right now as we spoke, and that the roof is almost done except for the ridge cap.
Right,
The
they're
roof
gonna
is
do
done
that.
except for the ridge cap,
Yeah, they're
so.
gonna do that tomorrow, then, TPD will be all done, and then the electrician just has to finish up, and then the paving, and then we can start hauling salt and sand.
Wow, excellent.
Yeah, they did a great job, and they did it on an amazing time, too. Took longer to get the loan than it took for them to build the building.
That was a process. Updating zoning books, just, I did have a couple of calls from a couple of residents that were looking for those online. Town meeting was officially Tuesday. Took a day to type the minutes and get them sent down to code enforcement. I have been assured that probably by the 1st of next week, we'll have some new zoning books. So the way that they'll stand is that your 4.226, both versions will stay in there. They're just in the process of adding the historical structure piece that was also approved. So it's just the whole document shifts. So she just needs a little more time to get that together, and we'll update the website, and copies will be available here.
Do we print that in-house?
Yes.
Okay.
The next thing is the Thanksgiving baskets. So I know that the town, the church, not the town, excuse me, I know the church had a food pantry last week and handed out Thanksgiving baskets to those that were in need. I've had a couple more people reach out to us. So we're going to be assisting through our Neighbors Helping Neighbors account. So it's just a weekly, comment about that account and how important it is. But I guess two things. Someone has approached me about a couple of residents that they think in town are going to be alone for Thanksgiving that don't have any family. So I'm taking care of the two that I know about, and we do have a list of people that we automatically check on this time of year. But if anybody out there knows anybody that thinks that they might be in that situation, whether it be alone or just, life gets ahead of you and you're struggling a little bit and you need a little bit of help for Thanksgiving dinner, please contact me. It is completely anonymous. God love them, the selectmen don't even usually know the names of the people. It can be an anonymous phone call, but we want to do whatever we can. So the sheriff's department is going to be, every town that a contracted deputy works in, they're going to be helping a family. So for Deputy Shaw, he has an Acton family and he has a Shapley family. We've worked with our general assistants in our schools to get the best, name possible for somebody in that kind of situation. Unfortunately, in both towns, they couldn't choose between one family. I've got a couple of families. So now, if anybody wants to make a donation towards that other family, because the sheriff's department was only intending on one. And both of these have 5 or 6 people in the household. So we'll take some of our money out of the Neighbors Helping Neighbors. Michelle and I will go do a little shopping for those two, but even with the holidays coming up, anybody that can make donations, and again, more importantly than the donations, because we can come up with that, is if you know somebody. I mean, if your neighbor next door is an elderly neighbor that, doesn't have family and you think may be alone, please, please, please call me. I'll pack them up and we'll take them to the Bull and Claw with my family. That's where we're going. Last thing that I wanted to mention that isn't on the agenda is the town report. We are going to print. Yay! Yay! We're going to print the town report. This has been a long process. We have the audit. We have everything complete. We even have this magnificent Board of Selectmen letter in there. So it's going to print. So we're going to be having a celebration when that comes in to unravel our dedication. Remember, it's still top secret. So we'll have a little shing-ding when the first copy comes in for that.
Sounds good.
No old business, no new business, unless
Any
Chairman.
other business? No? Announcements?
Couple of announcements. I know you're getting tired of hearing about my dogs, but if you're one of those people that pay the $35 or $50 late fee in January and February, you'll appreciate all these calls, all these announcements. So dog licenses still available. The tree lighting, which we talked about, donations. Wanted to let you know that we got a very nice letter, and I apologize for not having it in front of me, from Lifelight. That was one of your new sponsors this year.
Life Light or Life Flight?
Flight. I just wanted to see if you actually read the agenda.
I did, yes.
Life Flight, that is my typo.
That would be a typo in the agenda then?
Yes.
Okay.
But I believe we have already approved the agenda, so technically you can't bring it up at this point. They sent a letter just thanking the townspeople for adding them as a social service. It was the first time you guys gave to them, and just how thankful and appreciative they were for that.
They were used in town earlier this year. I forget the exact date, but there was an accident and they landed.
Okay. Anybody have anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?